The old Victorian mansion loomed before us, its turrets reaching towards the moon like skeletal fingers. We had just moved in, eager to start a new life in this quaint, rural town. The realtor had warned us about the house's reputation, but we dismissed it as mere small-town gossip. As night began to fall, a chill crept into the air, and the trees surrounding the property seemed to lean in, their branches creaking ominously in the wind. Our kids, Emily and Timmy, were already in bed, but my wife, Sarah, and I were too excited to sleep, exploring every nook and cranny of our new home. The creaking of the wooden floorboards beneath our feet seemed to echo through the empty halls. The darkness outside seemed to seep into the house, casting long shadows that danced across the walls. I lit a candle in the living room, casting a warm, golden glow over the space. But as I settled into the couch, I began to feel a creeping sense of unease, as if we were being watched. As the hours ticked by, the house grew quiet, the only sound the occasional creak of a settling beam. But then, I heard it. A soft, whispery voice, barely audible, but unmistakable. It seemed to be coming from the walls, the floor, the very air itself. I spun around, but Sarah was still engrossed in a book, oblivious to the sound. I tried to convince myself it was just the house settling, but the voice continued to whisper, its words indistinguishable, but its tone unmistakable, a soft, mournful sigh. My skin crawled as I felt the presence of unseen eyes upon us. I shivered, despite the warmth of the candle. The voice grew louder, more insistent, and I felt my heart pounding in my chest. I tried to focus on Sarah, but she seemed different. Her eyes seemed darker, her skin paler, as if she too was being drawn into the whispering shadows. I felt a cold dread creeping up my spine. Sarah finally looked up from her book, her eyes locking onto mine with a look of concern. "What's wrong?" she whispered, as if the voice in the walls was a secret we both shared. I shook my head, trying to clear the cobwebs, but the voice continued to whisper, its words still indistinguishable. The voice grew louder, more urgent, and I felt myself being pulled towards it, as if it was a siren's call. I tried to resist, but my feet seemed rooted to the spot, as if I was trapped in a nightmare from which I couldn't awaken. And then, it happened. The voice stopped, and the house was silent once more. But as I looked around, I realized that Sarah was gone. I frantically searched the house, calling out her name, but there was no response. I stumbled through the darkened halls, my heart racing with fear, until I found her in the kitchen, standing in front of the sink, staring out into space. But as I approached her, I saw something that made my blood run cold. Her eyes were black as coal, and her skin was deathly pale. And then, I heard it. The whispery voice, once again, but this time, I could make out the words. "Welcome home," it whispered, as the shadows around us seemed to coalesce into a figure, standing right behind Sarah.